the intuitive hit that Geminis can get is to leap out of the tower before it crumbles, right? So it's almost this thing where you guys are in a position where you know that stuff is not up to par, or you feel that things are about to blow up. And it's more or less, this is going to happen the first week of December, regardless, right? Because I really feel that that's in alignment with this eclipse. So it's like this thing is going to happen regardless. But looking at it, even coming out of November and into December, like the time frame, like with it being like that gradient kind of time frame, it's that vibe I was feeling of you guys knowing this before it actually happened. It's like with this surrender to your intuition and this leap, it's almost like giving you an opportunity to get the F out of Dodge before this actually happens, because you already intuitively feel that some is about to go down. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your December soul session. I am Marlo if you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. If you're not familiar with what my soul sessions are, they are your spirituality as well as personal development readings, and which we do too. I'm sorry. I couldn't even do the whole spiel, Gemini, because I'm staring at the fact that the tower came out first. You know, I tried to not look down at it and do the spiel, but I cannot, okay? Because I want to get into the cards. So anywho, coming out of November and into December, the first card that you guys have is the Tower card. And of course, zodiac sign wise, you know, this is like Scorpio energy, but planetary wise, it's Mars. So first thing that's coming to mind with this, now mind you, I'm not freaked out or creeped out by the Tower card. It's actually my favorite card in the deck, you know, and I'm also a Gemini rising. So, you know, don't be afraid. But with this energy, it's 9 times out of 10, we're talking about coming out of November and into December. But looking at the fact that the first week of December on the 4th, we have the solar eclipse with the new moon in Sagittarius, and with that being your opposite sign, I'm pretty sure this is why this is coming up, because more or less with us coming into a new year, and also why I love the Tower so much, is the Tower happens when we're in a position in life where we have gotten so far off track from what it is that, you know, we're here to do, right? And or we're trying to protect ourselves so much that we've become so out of alignment with ourselves that we've stagnated ourselves. This is more or less spirit coming to save one from themselves, right? And once the Tower crumbles and, you know, you hit the ground like these fine people that we see here, it gives you an opportunity for a split second to see the truth of the matter, which is that you've deviated so far from your path or from yourself, and it gives you a chance to realize that and get back on track, or you have the option to pick up the bricks and rebuild the tower. So I say all of that to say, what it's looking like for me is that coming out of November and into December, there's some sort of shocking event that happened or is going to happen. And if this is something that is going to happen, it would be something that happens literally in the first week of December. However, I want you guys to not be creeped out because whatever this is, even though it's going to be shocking because it's unexpected, right? This event is something that is getting you back where it is that you need to be, because whatever this is, whether it's like a job that you're at, if it's a relationship you're in, if it's a friendship, whatever this is, it's acting as a block and it's influenced you to the point that you come out of agreement with yourself. So this is saving you from yourself, right? The next card that we have is the 9 of Swords in the reverse. So in some sense or another, that lets me know that, granted, the shockingness of this would really be less about, it would be less about the information that comes out or that you find out about or what have you. I think the shock would come more in the time, right? Because with this 9 of Swords in the reverse, that's letting me know that this is something that's been on you guys' mind, probably not the way that it happened, but it's something that you've known you needed to deal with, type of deal. So if I were to give an example of that, to kind of cut straight to the case here, it would be, you haven't paid your car note in 3 months, right? You're fully aware that you haven't paid your car note for 3 months, right? So your car is up for repossession, hypothetically, right? So your car is up for repossession. So you don't know what day they're going to come take your car. It's just one day you wake up and you see the tow truck pull up and take your car and you're shocked, right? But you're not really shocked. I mean, it's like you're shocked at the time frame, but you're not shocked about the event, because this 9 of Swords lets me know this is something that you've been expecting or something that you've been knowing that you've put off, and it's something that has caused you a great deal of anxiety already. I just feel you didn't know that it was going to happen now. Now, I'm not literally saying anybody's car is going to get repossessed, but that's how this energy signature looks to me. So you didn't expect the time in which it came. The next card that we have is the 8 of Wands in the reverse. So it's not knowing how to move forward from that. So here's the thing, Gemini, that I would have to say is, okay, 2 things. If I were to go back to this analogy of your car getting repossessed, right? It's almost like it's a wake-up call type of deal, because for one to be, if I just go straight with this line of cards, we wake up at 4 a.m., your car is on the tow truck, you're shocked, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to get to work without my car? Like, stuff like that kind of thoughts, hypothetically, again, right? But the thing that's kind of nagging at me with that is needing to take it back to the initial thing, which is the fact that one's car note wasn't paid for 3 months. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the same thing of, if you don't pay your light bill, your lights are going to get turned off. If you don't pay your water bill, your water's going to get turned off, right? If you don't pay your mortgage, your house is going to go into foreclosure, right? You don't pay your rent, you're going to get evicted. You know, you don't go to the dentist, you're going to have cavities, you know? So it's this energy I'm seeing, but it's almost like I'm trying to put it into words of how to say that, because it's perplexing me like what I'm seeing is like contradictory. So it's perplexing me to get it out of my mouth, if that's making sense, because it's kind of like, and I don't want to say, I guess that's it, not taking accountability type of deal, because it's like, if we know we didn't pay our car note, why are we shocked when the car gets repossessed, is what I'm trying to say. Because like the two go together. Like, we can't have something for free. Like, granted, one can understand, okay, well, we don't have the money for it, we don't have the money to afford it, but it's like, right, so if you can't pay for the thing, you can't expect to keep the thing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm seeing this energy kind of go into this deep, I don't know how to move forward, how am I gonna da 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 da. But the thing that is kind of confusing me about it is, why is this a thought now and why wasn't it a thought before? If that's making sense. Because we know that if we don't pay for something, it's going to get turned off or we're going to lose it. So it's kind of like, that's the thing that's confusing me in reference to that, of why is this coming now and not before? Because I feel that would really be saying this in alignment with the fact that you're the second to last sign in all the signs I've done up to this point. The theme of every single sign has been something that everyone has been doing that it's almost like a self-sabotage behavior that all 12 signs are, and I'm just going to call it out for Pisces. Pisces is after y'all. I ain't did them yet, but I'm just going to go ahead and call it. But for every sign up until Gemini, what's been revealed in each reading is a self-sabotage behavior that each sign does that keeps them stuck exactly where they are. You know what I mean? And that's what this is kind of looking like to me, because, and I mean, I'm saying this like an auntie, because I mean, if this was my child, I would say the same thing. If this was my sister, if this was my brother, you know, I would say the same thing. It's like, yo, like you know, you didn't pay your car note. So why are we, you know, shocked that the car got repossessed? You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that to make you guys feel bad or anything. It's like it's literally like, okay, we got to grow up a little bit. Gemini, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not gonna say all Geminis, whoever resonates with this. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like it's a need to grow up a little bit, because it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's, that happens. You know, it sucks. And I could even understand the sense, well, I didn't have the money. And it's like, I get it, but that means that you couldn't afford the hypothetical car that we're talking about here. You know, so there's a need to like downsize, or even going even deeper of, you know, how did you get this car in the first place if you don't have the money? Now, mind you, if you lost your job, completely understandable. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm seeing is a theme of things like this happening and being shocked, because prior to this, it's like I was saying with the Nine of Swords, like you knew this was coming. You feel me? Like you knew that this was coming, but it's almost being shocked. Now, granted, I don't feel y'all knew that actual day, like I said, but this is something that you guys knew was coming, right? And then we have the Four of Wands in the reverse. So that's an unstable foundation. So Gemini, look, I'm telling y'all, I'm a Gemini rising, dude. I get it. So this isn't like an attack or anything like that, but it's legitimately, this is a wake-up call in the form of a less than stellar behavior that 9 times out of 10 is manifesting as self-sabotage that needs to be identified and needs to be accepted. Because what this would look like to me, it's almost like getting by with things with like by the skin of your teeth almost, you know, where it's like, I have all of these bills and all of these balls in the air, and I have this job making this amount of money, but it's not really looking at stuff. Like it's not really looking at how much you actually, like what your gross income is, what your net income is, looking at how much gas that you spend every week, like how much your car insurance is, or your car note, or your rent and your utilities, and really looking at that and breaking it down. And not saying that this is literally a money thing. I'm still using hypotheticals here, but it's not taking all that stuff into account. And I said something similar to Taurus, where it's swipe, 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 and then all of a sudden, like your bank account's overdrawn, and it's not knowing how the heck that happened, but you do know how that happened. But it's like it's almost like how it is that things are being approached up to this point. It's from like a place of instability. Like it's almost like a recklessness, if I could say it that way. You know what I mean? And not like a wild recklessness. It's just, y'all, this is hard getting this out my mouth. Yeah, this really is. Because I'm trying to tread lightly. But geez, it's like what I'm seeing here, it feels like it feels like it needs rebuke, if I were to be quite honest. Because I feel whatever this situation is, this is a situation that Gemini doesn't have to be in. You know, it's almost like letting things slip through the cracks, if that's making sense. Ciao. Then we have the Four of, I don't even know if I showed these to y'all, child. The Four of Cups. Then we have the Six of Swords. Yeah, Gemini, all of this energy, it's a very stagnated energy that's all starting off with this Tower. But the reason why the Tower happened is because the foundation it was built on wasn't sturdy anyway. And I'm seeing that with this Four of Wands in this Tower. So it's almost like, and why I say reckless, it's almost like a reckless disregard for the decision that one made. So it's like almost if one made an emotional decision or made an impulsive decision. So if we look at this like an impulse buy type of thing. So once again, if we went back to the car situation, this is like impulsively going to buy like a Mercedes and not taking into account how much it would cost to maintain this car. That oil changes on it are, you know, $200-300, and you can only go to the dealership, or like tires on the car, just general upkeep on it. But it's like it felt right in the moment. Bam, you did it, didn't think it through, you know. And every month since you got the car, it's like it's been constant just stress, anxiety, because it's not really knowing if you're going to have the money to handle all of your other bills. But once again, like I said, the car gets repossessed because the foundation, like this thing you built, this thing that you acquired, the most important thing with any structure, you can ask any architect, the most important thing with any structure is it having a sturdy foundation. If the foundation is off balance, you know what I mean, or not properly reinforced, that's how towers happen. You feel what I'm saying? So, but the thing that I'm seeing here still is almost like this shock here. And it's this thing of almost like feeling attacked or victimized, or bad things always happen to me, this isn't fair, why can't I ever seem to move forward type of deal. It's like every time I'm trying something, there's always blocks, or it's seeing stuff that way, but not taking into account the foundation that it was built on wasn't sturdy in the first place. And this is the thing, Gemini, I don't necessarily even think that you guys even know, because once again, this is what I have seen for all of the other signs. This thing that I'm speaking to is something that's like in your periphery. So it's like you don't know that you're doing this, but it's like, just like I'm saying with me, I'm looking at cards on a table talking to a camera right now, right? But it's like what I'm seeing, I see this in the same way that I feel people who know you or people who are in your life would see the same thing, but probably just don't say anything about it, because I feel it. Like I feel the angst, like the, you know, gritting teeth, like awkward discomfort to kind of talk about something like this, because it feels like that's not none of my damn business. And that's probably how people around you would feel, is like, it's not really my business to be telling you what you should or should not do. To where if you tell a friend like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe that this happened, Like my car got repossessed and a friend being like, oh girl, for real? Wow. I wonder how that happened. But never saying anything because you feel it's not your place, because it's very possible. I could totally see that. Even if I were to put myself in this particular situation as a Gemini rising, right? If I were to put myself in this situation, I could even understand if I didn't feel I was doing anything wrong, and in my heart of hearts and in my conscious mind, I felt I literally was doing everything I possibly could, and I had another person, no matter who they were to me, like tell me something like that, it'd be like, what? Like, how am I self-sabotaging? You know, until I took a moment and sat back and think about it, then it's like, oh, well, you know what? And I feel that's the conversation that it is that we're having here. It's like this thing happening in this first week of December, it's almost like just like someone just telling you this wouldn't be wake up call enough, clearly, because the tower's here. Because, and I said that in another reading too, the only time the tower shows up is when spirit has been consistently showing you the same thing over and over and over and over again, and has literally used different people to tell you this. But when we get into a sense of self-protection, and it's like, you don't know me, right? I'm not doing that. Like this is some crazy thing that happened. When we like miss all of those opportunities to correct a behavior, we build up a tower, and because spirit loves us so much, knocks the tower down. Because the whole premise of this is for you to get to that. It's like the tower, oh my gosh, come on, autofocus. There we go. So the whole thing with the tower is, if you're looking at all of this, it's like the tower's way up here. So let's say you're like living up here, right? The foundation is way down here. How could you ever possibly know that your foundation is jacked up unless there's some sort of a symptom, whether it's like cracks in your walls, or one part of your house starts to kind of sag and starts getting, leaning tower of Pisa, I think it's called, vibes, that's the only way you would know that you have a weak foundation. But it's like this event happening as a reality check, as a wake-up call for you to fall to here. And I don't mean like literally fall or like this is something negative befalling your life, not at all. But it's a wake-up call to shock you awake, to get you to see, holy crap, like my foundation is unbalanced, right? Your foundation would be symbolic of the reason why you're doing it. Because this could be a career path that you chose, that you're now realizing, I really don't want to do this. That's like how it was during Rona. Like a lot of people, like why a lot of people aren't working jobs and are quitting jobs and stuff, is because staying at home for almost a whole year made a lot of people realize what's really important to them. And it's like, I really hate this job. I don't like working here. And a lot of people actually made the decision to pursue their passions. And I feel for my gems, you're trapped in something. And the thing that you're trapped in, it's not even something that you really want, but it's being in this process or this program or living like this for so long, you're not even seeing that it's not even really in alignment with you. Or if we were to just say with the Four of Wands, that being your values, it's something that's not in alignment with you. And you have felt that way for some time, because it's like literally, Gemini, the simplest way I could put this is an external manifestation of an inner state that you guys have lived in for an extended period of time. Whether it's a car, you've been knowing that this car was out of your price range and you could not afford it. And you've been losing sleep over that. And now the car getting repossessed is the external manifestation of this thing that you knew deep down inside that you didn't want to admit to yourself, right? If this is a job that you hate, every day, the night before you got to go to this job, you're like, oh, I got to go to this freaking place again. You've been knowing that this job is not in alignment with you. The culture is very toxic. It's a hostile work environment. You been knew that you wanted to leave this job and that you hated it. And then bam, you get fired. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, right. I never liked it here anyway. You know what I'm saying? And that's the vibe that I'm feeling. So internally, you guys knew there was a lack of growth. There was a lack of movement. You weren't really happy with this. You were stressed out about, finances or whatever this is, or this friendship wasn't adding to you. These people you were around were holding you back. The romantic partnership you were in was holding you back. And you've known this deep down inside, not wanting to admit it. And this happens because it's harboring that energy signature for so long. It's now manifesting situationally in 3D. However, with you guys having the Six of Swords here, it's saying that a mindset needs to change. It's like the reason why all of this chaos, calamity, unrest has existed is because of Geminis being out of alignment with themselves, right? If you want to call it, your big person self and your inner child, right? And it's a need to move away from that mindset of, settling for less than you deserve, if you want to call it that, or committing yourself to things that aren't in support of your highest truth or aren't an authentic reflection of you, because all of that is stagnancy. Then we have the Two of Pentacles, not making a decision. I don't know why, y'all. I got my hair is literally all over the table and I keep seeing little curly cues and I'm like, come on now. But with the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, it's not making a decision. And that's the why this happened. So with this Gemini, like I was saying a few seconds ago, this is something you guys have been knowing you needed to act on, but it was kind of disassociating a little bit. I saw that same kind of thing with, I think it was Scorpio. No, it wasn't Scorpio. It was Leo, where it's like avoiding uncomfortable situations, knowing that you got to deal with this thing, but not really wanting to deal with it because it's uncomfortable. So it's kind of disassociating a little bit, not wanting to deal with conflict, not wanting to really look at how much money you have in your bank account or what have you. And refusing to make a decision in reference to handling this is what caused this thing to happen. But it's still working out for your good, though, because whether you would have dealt with it then or not, I feel if you would have dealt with it prior to, you probably would have continued to maintain the status quo, and it would have took a little bit longer for you to come to the realization that you don't want to live like this no more. You don't want to be here anymore. You don't want to know them anymore. But it's getting you to see the importance of you needing to make decisions. And how you know what decision you make is by your value system. That's something I've been driving home for months, y'all. Like, that's the whole premise of what it is that we're getting to the bottom of in Venus retrograde. Is like, what do you really value about life? Like, what's really important to you? What are you really living for? What are you doing all of this for? Like, what do you work this job for? What are you in this relationship for? What are you in this friendship for? Why do you hang out with these people? Why do you go to these places? Like, are they really a true reflection of you? Are you really happy? Is this what you really want? Or are you living your life through countless numbers of should, oughts, and supposed tos, which in essence makes you a slave to someone else's ideology? And towers like this continuously happen. And like I say, dude, so many people are creeped out by the tower card. I literally don't understand why. I really don't. Because things like this aren't scary. Are they uncomfortable? Absolutely. Right? They're very uncomfortable. But when you understand the bigger picture of why things like this have to happen, it's because it's like how I say, when you fall, you have two choices to make. And it's either you see the truth of how far you've gotten out of alignment with yourself and you get back on the path, or you can choose to pick up those same bricks and rebuild that tower all over. What I'm seeing here, Gemini, is that for some time, you guys have been picking up those bricks and building up the tower all over. And the reason why it keeps crumbling is because it's not in alignment with you. It's trying to hold on and stay this person you're not supposed to be anymore, or stay in this place that you're not supposed to be anymore, because you're destined for something bigger and greater than what you're settling for now. And the reason why there's apathy, there's unfulfillment, there's anxiety, there's, depression, there's insomnia, there's this feeling of stagnancy and being blocked, and I can't think straight, and I'm not hearing spirit clearly, and I don't know what my next step forward is. What do I really want to do? All of that stuff is symptoms of the deeper problem, and the deeper problem being that what one has been continuously choosing is in direct opposition to your own truth. And this will continue to happen until you choose to align with your truth. And nobody wants to keep going through this. However, I can say, as a double Taurus, I am one of those people. On my journey many, many moons ago, it took me a long time to actually get it. Like, I literally was like, dude, I feel like my life is like some type of cosmic joke for spirit or something, because I'm like, how much negative, bad luck kind of stuff can happen to one human, And it wasn't until I really started working on myself that I started seeing things like this, how I was orchestrating my own chaos, like things in that same energy signature. Like I said, not paying your car note for 3 months and being shocked when your car get repossessed. If you don't pay your car note, the car is going to get possessed. Why are we pretending to be shocked right now? And I think that's one thing about my personality that shines the most out of so many other things, especially as a clinician, is us needing to get back to reality and understanding the simple law of cause and effect. Everything is interconnected. Like, there's consequences for our actions. #justice card. You know what I'm saying? There's consequences for our actions. So this is like, it's an epic wake-up call, but in the best kind of way. So I don't want you guys to feel like, discouraged or anything like that, because that's not the case. It's like, this is literally the potential for a breakthrough that you guys have here. And I say a huge breakthrough, almost to the point I talked about this with Aries, I think, where I talked about the Judas in the mirror moment, which is like, people be talking about the dark night of the soul child. Look, when you see your Judas in the mirror, that is some earth-shattering stuff. And that's when you start doing work on yourself, and those of you who are in therapy, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. When you start having these aha moments and these epiphanies where you start seeing stuff, like I said, like, damn, if I don't pay my car note, they're going to repossess my car. And that seems so simplistic, but it's like, oh yeah, I understand that, but it's not really understanding it. But it's like, when you get it, and it's like, holy crap, I got to make a change. I have to do something different, So that's what I'm seeing for you guys, man. 8 of Pentacles, hard work, master craftsmanship. And I feel that master craftsmanship is on yourself, my friend. Like, here's the thing, Gemini, this is something, and I hate to be repetitive, but this is something that's being brought into your conscious awareness because it's something you've been overlooking. And now is the time for you guys to move past this. If I were to give you a list of things that this would be saying that you guys would need to work on, the first thing, and I'm not saying what you need to work on, but saying theme-wise, some things that would help you in your own personal development to work on would be self-honesty and personal accountability, learning how to make decisions more from a place of logic as opposed to emotions. You know what I mean? And that's a sticky territory there, because when we talk about being spiritual people, and even if spirit speaks to us about something, I'm a firm believer in the fact that spirit speaks logic, because spirit is logic to me, right? Like, spirit is not going to tell you, like, you make $10 an hour, right? Go to the dealership, get that Mercedes. Like, that's not no type of stuff that spirit is going to tell you to do, because that is so grotesquely out of alignment and not even in the stratosphere of what it is that any of this is about, where it's like, oh no, well, God wants to bless me. No, it's like, we want stability, we want security. You know what I'm saying? Consistency here. And that's not something that's going to help you in your process, because it's something that's hurting you, right? But this whole premise is that self-honesty allows us to see, or even being teachable, to where if a person were to call you out, like I was saying in the beginning, it's like me, my personality, my human design is set up that way. When a person tells me something for the first time that's new information, I always give the side eye. So my thing is like, that don't really sound right, but I'm going to go do my research on that and I'll get back to you, right? So then I'm just going to go on this deep dive of research, looking at the pros and the cons, looking at different sides of the argument. And then after that, I'm going to come up with my conclusion after looking at both sides, right? But with this in particular, you guys want to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position to where you're taking like emotions for face value and misconstruing them with spirit, if that's making sense. Like the thought of, if you get an inspiration to do something and it's just the instant thought of like, oh, this is what spirit is telling me type of deal, because spirit isn't going to tell you to do something that's illogical, right? And I still tread lightly with that, because there can be things that spirit tells us to do that are seemingly illogical, but when you look at it hindsight, it really wasn't that illogical. It's just at that moment that you received that message, you didn't have an understanding in your consciousness in that particular moment. But it's not going to be anything that's out of order, if that's making sense. You know what I'm saying? So a little bit of, and I said that in another reading, a little bit of self-doubt is healthy, to take a step back and to really think about things. So that's something you guys would want to implement in. Another thing, I recommended this book before. If you feel that you are a self-sabotager, not if this is new information to you, there's a book that's called How to Stop Self-Sabotage. I really, really love the book. And it walks you through that whole process. But when it comes to this working on you guys' self, right? This is more or less starting from ground zero and working up. So it's like backtracking to see how something like this would be showing up for you, being honest with oneself in reference to this, right? And the other thing is making definitive decisions. So if one is honest, so a person comes in, tells you, oh, this is what's going on, right? Even if you're like me, you like, I don't know about all that. But if you take some time, do a deep dive, and you're like, okay, I can see where I do that, right? And it's like, wow, why am I doing this like that? Why did I feel this particular way? This is interesting that I'm doing this, right? So now that's brought into your awareness. So if you're seeing like, yeah, why the heck would I think, don't pay my car to, like, my car is not going to get repossessed. I know that's a horrible example, but it's, that lame to help it make sense. So once you come to the realization of that, now it's a desire to make changes. In order to make changes, what do you need to do? You need to make decisions. You've already identified the problem, right? You saw where it is that you got kind of off track. So now it's about making decisions. That is not comfortable, right? Looking at something for what it is, admitting that you're doing it, and seeing what needs to be done. And now it becomes a series of decisions with this 8 of Pentacles. It's a series of decisions over time. I went into great depth about this in Aries. And that's why there's like an hour long. So I will not, do that to you guys. I'm pretty sure I time stamped Aries. So it's one of the timestamps where it's like towards the end where I say something along the lines of like how all of this wraps up or what all of this was about, whatever. If you want to go listen to that, because I went into great detail about it. But the whole thing is now it's you like taking everything day by day, and it's a series of continuous choices that one is making to create a new behavioral pattern, right? Which causes our lives to shift, right? So it's almost like a form of repentance, if you will. So that's what I'm seeing it is that needs to happen here, Gemini. Y'all gonna have to tell me in the comments, dude, because I didn't want like why I didn't clarify these like with these cards, because these get like straight to the point type of deal. And this energy signature I'm seeing play out is something I can see go into a myriad of different scenarios, but I'm just using the ones that are the most concrete and kind of like relatable. But I feel for all Geminis, whatever this is really talking about, it's almost you hearing the words behind the words. So even if I'm talking about a car note and a repossession, it's like whatever this is for you, you're hearing the words behind the words, that this is talking about that particular thing. But I would love to know what that is, because I'm interested. I like learning about different struggles and stuff, because I know what I could relate that to in my own particular experience, like past or present and things of the sort. But I always like to see things from everyone else's perspective. So if you're, if you're comfortable, comment below. If not, shoot me an email or something. If you on a network, y'all already know. Just DM me, because this is something interesting I'd like to talk about, because it's just like how it hit me in the beginning. I'm just like, what? You know what I'm saying? It's making me think like, what? But like, and I even say that like my little sister is a Gemini. And that's why I'm like, dude, if this was like my kid, well, he's an Aries, but with my kid or even with my little sister, like if I saw this, I would be like, dog, come on, like, let's wake up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one of those things where it would have to come from someone that you trust and you care about to receive it. You know what I'm saying? So all of this is in love, but it's just like, Jim, what y'all doing? What y'all doing? But I can see this like it was something similar with Taurus too. With Taurus trying to and the same thing with Leo. It's a lot of signs, dog. It's a lot of signs that had a scenario similar to this, where you trying to go in one direction, but everything that you're doing is undermining where it is that you're trying to go, if that's making sense. But anywho, enough of my talking. I'm gonna pull a surrender card for you guys because it's Surrender December. A lot of the reason why all these readings have been coming out like this, because these are all things that we need to surrender to have our best chance in 2022. You know what I'm saying? So you guys, extended is going to be your 2022 soul scope. And I'm pulling a surrender card to help you guys to find something that would behoove you to surrender in December. Then I'm going to pick some more oracles for you guys. And then we're going to go on over there. So we have surrender. Come on, dagnabbit son of a gun. Surrender to your intuition. It says, tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. Now, this is interesting. Another way I could see this, dude, is this tower. Like, for some of you guys, maybe this tower won't be a shocking event, but with this being the first week of December being the week of the eclipse, that this ends up being some freaking earth-shattering, like, oh my freaking God, Judas in the mirror kind of moment, where a lot of this stuff that I'm saying is something that clicks to you and you're like, holy shit, this is exactly what it is that's freaking happening, But whatever method or medium that it comes in, best believe it's coming to set you free, Gems. So don't be freaked out or nothing like that, right? Oh, leap. Come on, dagnabbit. Come on. Okay, leap. It says, take action, go forward, faith, taking a chance. Child, look, I'm trying to tell y'all, Gemini, This is your season, my friend. This is something, this has been nagging at me so much. I'm not starting a class on it until the new semester on the network, because with I'm gonna touch on it with the Venus retrograde deep dive that we do, but I'm gonna do a class on it that goes a little bit deeper, not until the semester starts in the spring, which is in March, when we stop the little shadow work of Venus retrograde thingamajigger. But that's an important thing with your intuition, is like how I was talking about that impulsiveness, that emotionality and intuition is really important to differentiate the difference between two of those. But the thing that's important to know is that just like this leaping, spirit will tell you to do something. You know what I'm saying? But it's not going to be something that would hurt you in the long run. You feel what I'm saying? It's pushing you outside of your comfort zone, not, having you do things that are going to put you into a difficult or compromising position, if that's making sense. But we are going over, this is the first part of you guys soul scope. So I'm going over to my network and Vimeo, Patreon, YouTube members, all the places to do you guys 2022 soul scope. So if you're about that life, follow me on over there. But if not, I still love your face, and I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends.